Hello everyone and welcome to JavaScript and Overview. This is a three-part course that is aimed to set you on course to understand JavaScript and for you to be able to use JavaScript for software development. My name is Samuel Waobi. JavaScript is a programming language of the web. It started out as a way to add small bits of functionality to a website, but now JavaScript has evolved into much more. JavaScript is used on the vast majority of websites and is supported by every major browser. The language has evolved to support the creation of business applications on the web, and with web connectivity built in, almost any kind of utility, security, or data application can be created using JavaScript. Games can games can also be created using JavaScript. You must have heard of Unity, a popular game engine for 3D and 2D games. JavaScript is supported as a programming language for this engine. For large-scale businesses or for large-scale applications, uh, JavaScript is supported as a programming language. Okay, and it has been embraced by a scalable language called TypeScript. This language is a superset of JavaScript, so you will need to understand JavaScript well in order to write large-scale business applications and other software using TypeScript. JavaScript is not just for applications which run in browsers on the web. You can also create native applications for smartphones and tablets using JavaScript. A popular technology for this is the Apache Cordova. JavaScript can also be used to create full-fledged applications for the Mac and Windows desktop. Okay, and then the popular technology used to accomplish this is Electron. Writing server-side code can also be accomplished in JavaScript. You can create web servers, web APIs, and other services using a technology called Node.js. So JavaScript is a multi-platform language, and it can be used to create native applications on smartphones and tablets. It can create desktops software for Mac and Windows computers, and can basically run on any backend server as well. No matter where you want your application to run, you can code it in JavaScript. So next, I'll be showing you how to get up and running very quickly with JavaScript. Uh, in order to start working with JavaScript, there are a few softwares that you will need to install. And the first you will need is, I will just go to my terminal, and then, okay, so one of the softwares you will need is Git. You need Git to be installed on your system, and for you to be able to verify if Git is installed on your system, you use Git dash that version. Okay, and then set an unknown option version. Okay, I would use, because I know. Okay, what am I doing wrong? Okay, I said very on there. Okay, so Git version. So I know, because I know that Git is installed on this computer. So if you get an error, make sure everything is typed correctly. And if you get an error, you know that Git is not yet installed. So the first thing you need to do is install Git. So you can head over to Git scm.com and install Git here. Okay, you can install Git using this. Okay, you can install it for Windows here. You can see where I am. You can install it for Mac OS here. Okay, and the next software to be installed is, I'll just clear. The next software to be installed is Node.js. We can use have Node.js, but if you use npm version, okay. So I have Node.js installed. If you get an error here, also you head over to nodejs.org, and then you download for your operating system also. Okay, so this for Windows. You can also download for other operating systems. There they are. The other operating system, you have Mac OS, and this is for Linux. Okay, and then you will need to download Visual Studio Code, code.visualstudio.com, and then yeah, you download for your operating system also. Okay, and if you have Visual Studio Code installed, to verify that it's correctly installed, you can just say code and you press enter and ought to open your Visual Studio Code for you. Okay, and then yeah, that's it. So next we'll be going to talk about we'll be talking about variables and constants. And to go into proper coding, I want to use Replit. Okay, Replit is an online IDE. Most likely you can use it to not only for not only for just click Node.js and to create not just only for JavaScript, but you can use it for okay. You can use it for Python and every other language, Go, Java, Kotlin. Okay, so I'm using Replit so that we can be able to understand most of the things that we'll be doing, and it just has a console um, that is just quick to use. Basically, see what I'll be able to see what I'm doing immediately, know where I'm getting it wrong. We could actually even use Visual Studio Code for it, but for now, I'll just stick with Replit. Okay. So the first thing we'll be talking about is variables and constants. Variables is a single piece. Okay, I've just variables and constants. Okay, so a variable is a single piece of information in JavaScript that gets stored, or single pieces of information in JavaScript get stored in variables and constants. So these are very important and are used throughout most of our code. Here we will go over this in detail. We'll start off by defining what a variable is and how it works. Then we'll see how to declare variables so we can use them in our code. We want to give our variables descriptive names, and then there are certain rules we need to follow when naming our variables. All these we will discuss even as we talk about variables and constants. Okay, so any application that we write is going to be based on data. Let's say we are into selling of, um, let's say we are into what Zuri does. Okay, we're into training of people, of the young tech leaders. Okay, we'll need some data such as the participant's name, the the participant's email address, and the stack of the participants. Okay, so the container used to store this data is called variable. The name given to this container is called variable name. We'll just write a little. Okay, so when writing a variable, the keyword that we use in JavaScript to write a variable is called let. So let, and then the name of the variable. So after the keyword, the name of the variable. So let's say participants, 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 singular. And then with this, we've basically declared the variable, but we have not assigned any data to be stored in this variable. We can do that by putting okay, first and foremost, before we go into that, just note how it is structured. So we have the let keyword, the variable name, and we have a semicolon. Now, this semicolon in JavaScript is not, it's important, but JavaScript is not strict in its rules of using this semicolon. So basically, I can go without using the semicolon, and JavaScript understands exactly what I'm going to do. There are other languages that are a bit strict with their rules, the use of semicolons. Example like Java, like C Sharp, they are a bit very strict with the rules of using semicolon. Okay, using semicolon is generally best practice, okay, so that your code can be easily readable by anybody, it can be easy to read by any other developer. So with this simple statement in line 2, we've basically declared the variable, but we've not assigned it any data, we've not stored any data in the variable. But let's say number of participants we have here is 25. Okay, with this, we've stored the number 25 in this variable participants. Okay. To be able to check if it has been stored, um, if what we're doing is correct, and if what is stored in the variable, what we want to store in the variable has been stored, there's a line of code that we can use in JavaScript to check, and it is called console.log. So basically, this is our console, and then it projects whatever we've done here to this console, and basically we can see the results of whatever code we've written here. So I will log console.log the participants, okay, and let us see if it shows 25. You can see it, 25. It works. Okay. And one thing I want us to also note is that the keyword let cannot be used as a variable name. Okay, I'll just talk about variable names. Okay, so here I used participants, okay, as my variable name. One of the key rules in you choosing a variable name. Now, a variable name can be anything. It can be as simple as A. If we make this A and we run, we still get 25. So a variable name can be anything, but your variable name shouldn't start with a number. So let's try 78 parts. Okay. We already have an error. So it's telling us that there's an error. But let's continue. Let's see. So we have an error telling us it's a syntax error. Syntax error are errors that are generated based on not following the rules and regulations of the programming language. So there are some set of rules and guidelines on how to write in JavaScript. So when we don't follow such rules, when we don't write JavaScript the way it ought to be written, we get a syntax error. So it doesn't, it said invalid or unexpected token. So basically it doesn't understand what we're saying. You can't use, another thing we should also know is that we can't use capital letters. It's not a best practice to use capital letters to start your variable name. Let's run and see what we have. We are still have 25. It's logged in, but it's not good. It's not a best practice. Okay. There's what we call camel casing. So let's say my variable name is number of part. No, okay, the ideal thing is that your variable name should be able to express what you're storing. So if I want to store number of participants, I can use participants, okay, if it's not going to be much confusing down the line, or I can just simply use participants number or number of participants as my variable name, okay. It's easier to understand. Anybody that just comes to read my code knows that this is what I'm talking about. So let your variable name be descriptive of what you're storing in that variable. Okay, if you're talking about the price of petrol, you can say price of petrol, or you can just say price if you're not going to be talking about any other products in your code. You're not going to be talking about any other products, just petrol. You can just say price. But if you're going to be talking about multiple products like petrol, diesel, so you just say price of petrol, price of diesel, or price petrol, price diesel. Okay. For this part place, I will just put okay. You can see that I've logged parts and it's already telling me that I mean I want to write. Okay, I think that is gone already. But let's just look for. So let's say it's number of participants. So number of okay. So look how the I wrote the variable name. Okay, so this way of starting a variable name with a small letter, okay, let's say small letter with a lowercase, and then any other word after the first word, the first letter of that word comes with an uppercase. So the first word here is number, the second word here is of, the third word here is participant. So number starts with the N in number, which is the first letter, starts with the lowercase. But the O of off starts with a uppercase, and the P of participants, which is the first letter in participants, starts with a uppercase. This is what we call camel casing. We just put it. By the way to comment your code in JavaScript is by using this control and forward slash. I think yes, this forward slash control forward slash. It gives you this two slash, um, and that's how you comment your code. So any code that is commented, like these variables and constants, and what I'm going to write now, um, it's not going to be run by JavaScript. It's just basically to help the developer know what he wrote, because most times after writing a code, you want to look into the code 1 year, 2 years down the line, and you look at your code and you basically do not understand your code. But with this commenting style, which is very good, the best practice, you can be able to know that okay, this is what I was trying to do here. this is what I was trying to achieve here, because you've commented your code. Your comments will basically describe the code in any code block, what you're trying to achieve by writing those any code block. So it makes it easy for you. Okay, so camel case, and it's gotten from the name from the camel, the back of a camel, the way the back of a camel is, it comes down, is down, and then it goes up and comes down again. So you see the same thing, down, goes up, and comes down again. That's why it's called camel case. Okay, so let's log number of participants, and we can have 25. Okay, in the next video we'll talk about types, because in this tutorial we talked about, in this video we just talked about number. 25 is a number, and then but we'll talk about other data types we have in JavaScript, which we have numbers, we have strings, and we have a lot of them. But we're talking about that in the next video. See you. So till the next video, we'll talk about them, and then we'll go into deeper things about JavaScript. Thank you.